What's up, YouTube? It's your boy JB, and I'm here with the review for The Haves and the Have-Nots. This is Season 7, Episode number 9, titled Boom, Boom, Bang. So guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and just jump into this video. Alright, you guys, so this episode, it opens up where last week's episode left off with Candace and dummy Benny at the bank. You know, she's giving Jim the $8. She's putting $1 million in Benny's account with his name on it solely, and she's keeping the rest of it. So Benny is still sitting there acting dumber than dirt. I'm like, Benny, have you not? You really have not caught on to the fact that Candace is giving Jim $8. What does that say to your? What does that say to your brain? Your sister is giving Jim $8. Out of how much? And he's so stupid. I'm like, really? Did Hannah drop Benny on his head as a baby? Because, I mean, the level of stupidity with Benny is just unbearable. So then, you know, he asked the lady, can I get $100,000 in cash? She's like, huh? He's like, can I get $100,000 in cash? She's like, you know what? We can try to see what we might have to get it from another branch. So then once, you know, the lady leaves, Candace is like, what we gonna tell our mom? Benny was like, I don't really give a damn what we tell her. He was like, so what are you gonna do? She says, you know, I'm gonna leave. She says, I'm probably might go to, you know, New York, LA, not quite sure. And Benny tells her not to worry about Jim. He'll take care of it. I'm like, really? Says the person he just kidnapped, but you'll take care of it. Okay, Benny. You were dumb enough to believe that a stripper was going to give you a free lap dance, but, I mean, I guess. Stranger things happen, huh? Stranger things happen. Benny is so fucking stupid. So Candace asks Benny, like, what are you going to do? He says, you know what, I want to get me and Mama out, you know, get her out of here, and then I want to get a new truck. Benny and this truck, dude, if you don't do something, you know, wouldn't let Benny have his truck, but god damn it, he's something stupid as hell. Something extra specially stupid. So then we see David. David is at the hospital with Master Jim. I just look at David. I'm like, you are an embarrassment to black men everywhere. You are running in behind this white man. Yes, Master. What you want me to do now, Master? Like, that's what Jim gives off as David gives off a Master vibe. So, you know, David is telling Jim, like, whatever you're going to do with Veronica, do it, don't tell me. And, you know, Jim is questioning him about what he said to George. He said, well, you know, I told George that Veronica was the one that killed Jennifer Salison. He says, well, what did he say? He doesn't believe me. He feels like this is a setup. And, you know, he says, well, you know, I can't go after her now. He says, you know, why don't you just make this something that's untraceable? He says, oh, like, you know, a plane crash? He's like, again, Jim, I don't want to know. So then Jim asked David, did he talk to Kyle? He said, yeah, once. Did he call you? No, he didn't call him. He says, okay, well, you need to treat this as like it's a federal matter. A federal matter, huh, Jim? Okay. And then David says, well, that won't help Catherine. He says, one bitch at a time. The fact that he's so damn disrespectful. God. I would just love to punch Jim right smack dead in his fucking mouth. So then as, you know, David is getting ready to leave, he says, check on Wyatt. I'm like, check on Wyatt. The same son that just shot you in the arm, you know, the shoulder, whatever. He should have just came over. He should have made sure he had some real fucking bullets in that. He should have made sure there were real bullets in that gun and just went for the heart. God, Jim is something. Can't stand him. Jeez Louise. Let's move on, you guys. Alright, so next we see George. So George goes over to Veronica's house. And Veronica's been her typical self, you know. Did you bring some fried chicken? I was like, oh, you love her, but you hate her at the same time. So George comes in and he tells Veronica, like, hey, so, you know, I had a conversation with David. She's like, okay, so what are you telling me for? He's like, you don't want to know what David and I talked about? Not really. He said, you're sure you don't want to know what we talked about? She says, okay, George, what did you guys talk about? He says, well, how about the fact that he said that you are the one who, well, he's trying to get an immunity deal to testify against you, in the murder of Jennifer Salison. Veronica's like, really? You know you have the person in custody that killed Jennifer Salison, correct? He says, I did think about that. And she says, you can play. He says, I thought about that. But then I thought maybe I'm... George is so confused. George is like the confused goose. Like, he don't know which way is which. Yeah, she says they're playing you trying to get Catherine off, which that is absolutely what they are doing. So then after he leaves, Veronica, she gets on her phone and she fake dials David, and she calls David and she's telling him like, oh, so you told George that I killed Jennifer Salison. That what we're doing now? Cool. I got evidence against them in the murder, right? He's like, yeah, and so do I. And she says, oh, well, why don't you bring it? He says, I will, because you went after my son. She said, that girl is not your son. You should get a DNA test. And then she taunts him, talking about, you a weak bitch. You can't even kill a bitch. Well, I mean, he ain't that weak because he did try to kill you, so he's not that weak. Now he is, I ain't even say he's weak. He was just idiotic and thinking that you were dead. He should have held, like Jim said in last week's episode, you should have held her under just a little bit longer. Make sure she's not breathing. That's all you gotta do. So, Veronica, once she hung up the phone with him, she's like, they after me. So she makes a phone call and she tells whoever she's on the phone with to bring over some candidates. I'm like, some candidates for what? We'll get into that in a little bit, but I'm like, some candidates? What kind of candidates? So then we do see, we see Catherine and Hannah. They're still in the interrogation room, and Catherine is signing over the power of attorney to Hannah. So then she asks Marty, so did you make those phone calls that I asked you to make? He says yes. She says, so what did they say? He says, none of the judges that you wanted me to call are willing to touch this. She's like, huh, really? After all that I've done for them. And, once Marty says he's still working on it. And once he leaves, she asks Hannah, can you believe that? She says, yeah, because, where I'm from, once you're in a bad spot, people don't really know who you are. And that is a very true statement. Pick and choose people that just be careful. Like when you do good things for other people, don't expect them to do, when you get down on your luck, don't expect for them to come back and do the same shit for you. Because 9 times out of 10, they're not going to do it. They're not going to be there when you call them saying, oh, I need this, oh, I need that. But when they're in need, they always want you to drop everything at the drop of a dime for their asses. But they won't be there for you. So, they're talking about Wyatt. Hannah believes that Wyatt is remorseful. Catherine says, don't fall for that shit. He's done this before. Like, don't fall for that. You're too gullible, Hannah. Which, I agree with her on that one. But do I believe Wyatt? Not even 5% of me believes Wyatt. So then Catherine asks Hannah will she go to the house and will she just make sure that all the blood is cleaned up by the time before she comes home. I'm like, before you come home, you're in jail for murder. You really think you know what? That's white. That is actually Catherine's white privilege just shining through. So I can't say I would love that, but I would love to live in whatever world Catherine lives in. But let's move on, you guys. All right, you guys. So then we see Akil. So Akil went over to the hospital where Jim is. He tells Jim that Benny is gone and that the Malones are the ones that came and got him. He said the Malones. He said yes, the Malones. Jim tells him to go get Ben. He says, no, thank you. I am not doing that. They told me not to do it. And Jim is mad at this point. I'm like, Jim, you know how the Malones are. So why would you think that Akil by his lonesome can just really go and take Benny when the Malones just threaten his life? Yeah, Jim, you don't care about nobody else but you. So then, Jim calls the bank to see if he got a wire transfer. And, he's told, yes, you did get a transfer, but it's not what you think it is. He's like, what do you mean? And he says, he's told how much it is. It's $8. And he's like, $8? So as he was getting ready to call Candace shows up. Now Candace says to him, like, she was actually intending to give Jim the money back. That was up until he kidnapped Benny. And, he says, oh, well, he's gone now, so, that's it. She says, you think so? He says, yes, I do think so. Then he makes a big threat against, her, Benny, and Hannah. Oh, I cannot wait for Jim to find out the fact that Hannah has power of attorney over Catherine's assets. Oh, that's going to be a glorious day. Praise Jesus for that one, because that's going to be a good day. Can't wait to see that episode. And then Candace's like, well, you know what, Jim? You might want to just chime down on the bark, because your bark is just a little bit, it has nobody behind it right now. Because I have so many people behind me, people in the White House. He said, the White House, your name is Mother in the White House. She says, okay, touche. But I also have the Malones behind me. The Malones. She's like, yeah, the Malones. And she says, you know what, I got someone that I want you to talk to, a friend of mine that I want you to talk to. So Candace walks out of the room and in walks Mitch. Now here's my thing with Mitch. For Mitch to not want to be associated with the Malones, he loves to throw out his family's name a whole lot. I've been saying this for the last few weeks. But Mitch is throwing out his family's name a whole lot for someone that doesn't want to, be a part of that lifestyle. So yeah, he comes in and basically he tells, Jim, hey man, I know you want your $8 million. That's fine and dandy, but what you're gonna need to do, you're gonna need to let it go, because the Malones, they rock with Candace. He's like, really? He says, I know the Malones, and I know that they don't like black people. Yeah, touche. But he does. He likes her. And, he says, you know what? Let it go. Just let this go. Jim's like, I don't know if I can let that go. He says, you might want to let it go, because I will tell Mama Rose that, I was caught in the crossfire of that whole stuff of kidnapping Benny. He's like, but that's not true. She doesn't know that. Just you and I. And who do you think she's going to believe? You or me? That's right. She's going to believe her grandson. I'm like, again, Mitch, for someone that doesn't want to be in his family's business, you're throwing it out there like you're throwing that shit out there like it's just hundreds and hundreds of dollars. But let's move on, you guys. All right, you guys. So I'm going to breeze through this situation right here. I don't understand what the whole point of Conley, Oliver, Landon, and Charles is. I don't understand it. We see Conley. He is in Kyle's office. He said he's looking. He's looking at the office because he's gonna take over the office. Kyle. I mean, not Kyle, but Charles. He got the job thanks to Charles. Yeah, none of this shit makes sense to me. I'm not understanding where this is tying into any storyline on this show. It's just a separate rogue storyline. Tyler Perry, do better. That's all I gotta say. Because this storyline it makes no sense. I don't understand it. Why is never mind. But Conley makes a little threat against what is his name? Kyle. Says that he'll, open up an investigation on him because of the stuff that he did to his guy Charles and his whole situation with Candace Young. You got it? I'm going to move on, you guys, okay? Now, let's move over to Queen Bee, Veronica. So, Veronica is conducting interviews. Now, every woman that walks up, she's saying no. Talking about they look like they steal. I'm like, what is she up to? Because the women don't even get a chance to say anything. She tells them to go out through the garage. I'm like, she up to something. I don't know what it is. So then she tells the woman, like, you keep bringing me nothing but white women. Do you have anybody that is black? And preferably a black woman that does not eat fried chicken, because I don't want this shit up in my house. I'm like, here she go with this racist shit again. And the woman said that. Now, Veronica don't feel like she can be racist, I guess. I mean, who cares? Who knows? So then she says she wants someone who favors her. And I'm like, well, bitch, how about you be your own maid? Then I finally figured it out. I'm like, oh, that's what she's doing. Because there was another girl, there was a black girl back there. And the woman brought the black girl up and she says, no, she looks like my mother. I was like, I figured it out. What Veronica is trying to do is trying to find somebody that, I can't even say resembles her, but someone that is around her size, her height, her build. So that way, if Jim or David sends someone to kill her, they'll kill the maid and not her. I was like, oh, you trying to find a dummy decoy. I see you, you shady bitch. I see you. Like, I see you. Oh, she ain't shit. Veronica, you ain't shit. let's move on, you guys. All right, you guys, and then let's wrap this episode up. So we see Justin. Oh God, Justin. Justin went over to David's crib, and he's my phone's about to die, so that's what happened, you guys. So Justin went over to David's crib. He wants to talk to Jeffrey and tell Jeffrey that he's leaving. I'm just like, why don't you just leave? Like, you're in your car, drive out of town. Drive over a cliff like drive out of town. Drive over a cliff like Thelma and Louise. Right into the sunset. Do whatever you're gonna do. But he's here. So then, the guard, the whatever you want to call it, dude, he goes and tells Jeffrey that Justin is outside. Jeffrey says, tell him that I'm not here. Then he says, no, bring him in. So he does bring him in. And Jeffrey's all dressed up. And Justin tells him, I'm leaving town. Do you not care? Not really. Not really. Goodbye and good riddance. He says, this is because of your mom. Are you in on this with her? Goodbye, Justin. Deuces. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. Like, you're not gonna fight for me? You're with him, aren't you? What do you mean I'm with him? You're all dressed up. You're dressed up for Madison, aren't you? Justin, please, go away, sir. Go away. So then we see Veronica. So Veronica took Laura, that's the young girl's name. She took her upstairs, and I forgot to mention that the woman, Laura, is a girl that came in, looks nothing like Veronica. Like, unless David and Jim are gonna hire Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles to kill you, the girl is younger than you. She's not exactly your same. She's not exactly your height or your size, but you gave her your clothes and some of your shoes that she can't fit because she wears a size 6 and your ass wears a size 9. But you want her to make that 9 a 6, bitch. She gonna flop. She gonna be flipping and flopping in them shoes. But okay. And then, she's talking about, do you have a car? You can drive my car, take it to the car wash and everything. I'm like, Veronica, girl, you really are setting this girl up for death. Like, you're setting her up for death. So then, to close out the episode, you guys, we see Wyatt in his cell. He's trying to talk to Catherine, and Catherine is like, Wyatt, leave me alone. So then he takes out a shank, and she's like, Wyatt, what are you going to do? I'm so sorry about what I did to you with Dad, Mom. And then he takes the shank, and he slits his wrist. I'm like, ooh, he actually slit his wrist. Do y'all believe Wyatt is dead? I don't. But let me know what you guys think. That was the haves and have-nots. So like this video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification button so you guys know when I drop anything else. Share this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.